Jason, thank you. Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin is urging Congress to make passing a new farm bill a top priority. The last five-year farm bill enacted in 2018. It expired, though, in 2023. The current proposed farm bill includes bipartisan legislation supported by Baldwin, including her Dairy Business Innovation Act that would allow small and medium-sized farms the ability to get small grants to improve efficiency and grow exports.
Well, we need to get our act together now and pass a farm bill because our farmers in Wisconsin deserve the certainty that a farm bill brings.
Senator Baldwin has also introduced the Healthy H2O Act, which would provide more testing in rural communities that rely on private wells to ensure their water is free of contaminants.